What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Miss TBTV. So yesterday, I had an appointment, one of my many services. And at the end of my appointment, me and my service provider, shall I say, we ended up, getting in a conversation. And we began to talk about, I guess just the little things that we've been dealing with over the last, month or so. And she started talking to me about not, I guess, being happy with her appearance or what she looks like. Now, I'm gonna start out with this. She's the same age as me, give or take a couple of months. And I'm the person that's older, okay? I'm 52, all right? And so she was saying to me that, and she's not the same nationality as I am. She's not African American. So this woman is another nationality. She has hair that's all the way down to her waist, okay? Hair that I feel like is beautiful hair, okay? Beautiful hair. Yet and still, she was standing in front of me, and this woman was expressing to me the fact that she didn't feel like she looked beautiful. She didn't feel beautiful. She didn't feel nice looking. She went on to say to me that she's about to be 52 next week, and her face just instantly went like sad. And she was just like, I'm just so not happy with it. I'm so not happy with it. And I stood there in front of her and I said to her, it was just like, all of a sudden it just came over me. I'm just saying to her, I said, I say, you're going to have to work on that. I told her, you're going to have to work on that. And it was like I reached out and I grabbed her hand. I said, you're going to have to work on that. I was like, because I feel good about me. I said, I don't have no problems with being my age. I have absolutely no problems with being my age. I was like, do you know how nice looking you are? I said, you are looking better than a lot of people that are well younger than you. I said, because that's exactly the way I feel about myself. And she was just sitting there like shaking her head. And she said to me, but you feel like that because you're in a relationship. This is what she's saying to me, that I feel like this because I have a man. I told her, this don't have nothing to do with me having no man. And so she asked me, was my man older than me or was he younger than me? And I told her, I said, he's a couple of years younger than me. And she was saying, yeah. And the last guy that she said that she dated was, more than a couple of years younger than her, maybe about 7-8 years or whatever younger than her. And she said that he was an a-hole. And I said, yeah, well then, he need to be your ex. He need to be your ex. You know what I'm saying? I said, but let me say this to you first. I say, me feeling good about myself don't have nothing to do with that man. This don't have nothing to do with that man or me having a man, period, for that matter. I said, I feel good about myself because I do. I said, come on. I want you to pull that together. I want you to pull that together. I want you to start, talking to yourself and working on yourself and just giving yourself the things that you need to make you feel good about being you. Because I told her again, I say, you beautiful. I say, you are beautiful. And she's, due to some things that have went on in her life from a health perspective over the last month or so, she's lost a few pounds. So it has her nice and slim. And she said, I look so small, I look so skinny, I said, you're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? So I'm saying all of this to say that we have to learn how to love ourselves right where we are. Right where we are. Do you understand what I'm saying? And I'm not saying we ain't gonna have times that it's things that's going on within us that we're not satisfied with, because you preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to the choir. I'm preaching to my damn self, because I have been someone from childhood to different stages of, my life, 20s, 30s, this and that, where I was not pleased with certain aspects of who I was. You know what I mean? But I have constantly throughout my life worked on me. I have constantly throughout my life talked to me. I have constantly throughout my life encouraged me. Okay, we have to encourage ourselves, and we cannot allow ourselves to be around, hang around. I don't care whether, no matter if it's friends or no matter if it's your family, whoever it may be, people you choose to be in a relationship with, whoever it may be, co-workers. You know what I'm saying? You cannot hang around people that are gonna feed that spirit of, I'm not pleased with myself. I don't love myself. I don't think I'm beautiful. I don't think I'm handsome. I'm not enough. We can't be around people like that. We can't be around people like that. Okay? But again, the number one person that's supposed to be letting you know that I'm all that, I'm that deal, is you. Okay? Again, example of being happy with yourself or pleased with yourself right where you are, learning to accept who God made you, is my grandmother. I got to use my grandmother for example. Last year, when we were at one of her primary care appointments, her primary care and I went and talked in another room before my grandmother, before she had the visit with my grandmother. We had a conversation because both her and I had noticed my grandmother's behavior. You know what I'm saying? And so she wanted to, just get a little bit more insight on my grandmother's behavior. Well, after her and I had our conversation, we came back into the room, and she said to me, I'm not going to tell her that me and you were just together. You know what I'm saying? Because my grandmother didn't even realize that me and her had went to speak together. She grabbed me before they even brought my grandmother into the room. You know what I'm saying? And told me that somebody else wanted to speak to me, a social worker or somebody like that. Well, however it is, my grandmother, I want to say this. My grandmother at the time was 85, about to be 86, because now she's about to be 87. And for 85 years old, I feel like she felt like that my grandmother looks doggone good for an 85-year-old woman. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying just far as visually, okay, on the surface. And she's getting around a lot better than a whole lot of people that are her age, and a lot of people that's younger than her, and darn sure a lot of people that was her own age. But yet and still, my grandmother was becoming this crabby, complaining, not satisfied, defensive, kind of rude person. And so her primary care had ended up saying to her, we're going to just call her Miss Brown. Miss Brown, she said, Miss Brown, she was like, when it comes to growing old, you know what I'm saying, or getting older, she said, either you're going to grow old gracefully or you're going to grow old kicking and screaming. She was like, it's up to you. You got to choose which one you want to do. Okay? Either you're going to grow old gracefully, or you're going to grow old kicking and screaming. Well, y'all, I'm here to tell y'all that my grandmother is not growing old gracefully. My grandmother is growing old kicking and screaming. That's literally what she's doing. My grandmother has such a problem with the fact that she's an 80-something-year-old woman that it's made her, because it ain't even making. She's there. She's full-blown there. It's made her this mean, grouchy, rude old lady. And she was not always this person. I mean, she always had this certain arrogance or whatever about her. Actually, she was this person that felt like she was that deal. But now, when I say my grandmother is literally like, she's like really borderline nasty. She's borderline nasty, her personality. And it's all surrounded around her not being pleased with who she is right now where she's at. If someone says to her, you know, I'm gonna get up and I'm not, you know, I'm gonna move or whatever, I'm gonna let you sit down right here because, I mean, you know, because you're old or this or that, she'll instantly start getting mad and saying, oh, wait a minute, you're not gonna be rude to me because I'm an older woman. Because, and it's like, I have to tell her, hold on, wait, like I'm pulling the reins of a horse, like bring it down. Bring it down. They're not trying to be rude or disrespectful to you. They're trying to respect the fact that you are an elderly person. Okay? This is the only seat that was available. They trying to get you the seat because you're an elderly person. Come on, bring it down. Why are you so upset that this person trying to give you respect? And then it's like all of a sudden, you know, she'll be looking at me with her face balled up like she's trying to process what it is that I'm saying to her. You know what I mean? But her instant reaction is, oh, you trying to say that I'm old. You are old. You are old. And I'll say to her, it ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that. The fact that you standing here before all of us and you're this old, you know what that says is, you've been living. You've been living a long time. I said, do you know how many people would love to be able to live into their 80s? Do you know how many people haven't lived into their 80s? And then I'll start naming people to her, like my brother who was killed at 15 years old, like her son that just done passed. Now, this is what I tell her now, that just passed over the last couple of months. Like all of your siblings and all these different people. Do you know how many people that would love to be old? Okay, so be okay with being old, Grandma. This is what I tell her. We have to learn how to be okay with who we are right where we are. Right where we at. Right in this phase point time in our life. We have to learn how to be okay with that. You know what I'm saying? And if you can't, again, let's get back to that one video back many months ago. Talk to yourself. Talk to yourself. Again, another example. One of my friends, she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer 1 year after her initial diagnosis. Now, this is someone that I grew up with. When she was first diagnosed, she was, a nice sized woman. You know, I don't know what size they put on her, but she's taller than me. She, let's just say if we're using clothes size, maybe if she wore like a 14 or 16, something like that. She was a nice ass woman. And fair skin, because she was lighter than me. Beautiful hair, beautiful texture of hair. Got this bubbly personality. Well, once she was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, here we were last year, 9 years later, and she was here. She was here. Stage 4 cancer for 9 years, and she was still here. But 9 years later, she was 80-something pounds, about 85 pounds. And her goal was to just at least get over 100. This is what she was saying to me. She was like, Keita, I mean, if I could just get over 100 pounds, I'd be happy. And it was just really like, oh my God, like touching my heart. You know what I'm saying? When I would listen to her talk or speak, because when me and her ended up, I guess, coming back into each other's lives, because she was actually my sister's friend, because her and my sister are in the same age group. She's a couple of years younger than me. Her and I had never, we had never ran together. Again, one of her sisters was closer to my age, but it's one of those but God type of situations. I found myself in a place last year where I was feeling down on myself about some different things that was going on. And out of the clear blue sky, this friend reached out to me. She reached out to me through my oldest son, got my number from my oldest son, and she was calling me. I wasn't answering the call because I didn't recognize the number. Well, my son ended up saying, "Mom, you know, this is Keisha who calling you. You know, answer the phone. You know, she asked me for your number." Well, however it is, once me and her got to talking and I was expressing to her what I was dealing with, she, number one, said to me, "Any day above ground is a good day for me." Y'all hear me? She said, "Any day above ground is a good day for me." That was her mantra that she had adopted for herself, or adapted for herself, because she knew that every single day that God allowed her to wake up, that was a blessing. Okay, regardless to the fact if she was just, let me get to just least over 100 pounds or not. Regardless to the fact if when she looked in the mirror at herself, she was now seeing a different person. Regardless to the fact that on a regular basis now, she was spending more time in the hospital than she was spending at home. Regardless to the fact if she was constantly having to go through chemotherapy and radiation. Regardless to the fact if she had this permanent port that was sitting on her chest that had to be there for now on. Regardless to the fact, she was okay with the person that God had her being right where she was at. She was okay with it. She was okay with it. So this is what I'm telling you. If someone who is struggling every day to live, okay, and had been struggling for 9 years, she said, "Keita, every time I ended up going back to get like these different evaluations, because she had this like rare form of cancer, it was having her body riddled with tumors." She said it would be times that she would go and they'll say, "You got 20-something tumors in your brain." They'll go and they'll say that she had 15, 20 tumors all up and down her spine. She would go and they'll say, "You have 15, 20 tumors all in your bladder, in your intestines, in your uterus, all this stuff." Do you hear me? This girl was going through it. But when I say every time I was seeing her, had a smile on her face. Beautiful disposition. She said the people at Carmano's, they made her their spokesperson, actually, because they had her to go and speak a couple of times on Ford Field, different stuff like that, to as a representative for breast cancer. And she said they would call her Skinny Minnie. And she said it tripped her out that she was being called Skinny Minnie, because she never was a person that was no Skinny Minnie, you know? And when I say that, every time I would go to that hospital and I would see her in those last months of her life, she would be laying there, even if she was laying there unconscious, laying there, you know, because they got her on a medication to keep her comfortable. Unconscious, I would be looking at her and this woman would have her lashes on. Unconscious, I would look at her and she'll be laying there and her nails would be done. Unconscious, I would stand there and I would look at her and she'll have new boho braids or whatever in her hair. You hear me? When I say this girl would always be together, laying there dealing with this stage 4 cancer, okay, because she was pleased and satisfied, okay, and okay with the person that she was right where she was. So we have to learn how to be in love with us. We got to learn how to be in love with us, regardless to our situations or our circumstances, okay? So that's my word for the day. And it's a long word for the day, but I know that there's somebody out here that needs to hear this, because my service provider yesterday, she needed to hear those words that I said to her yesterday. She needed to hear it. She needed to hear it. She grabbed me and she hugged me, okay? Like, I could see like tears in her eyes because of the fact that she's in a place where she's so not happy with herself, you know? So I hope that these words that I said to you all today was helpful. I hope that these words out here that I said today, that if they are not for you, that you share them with someone that you know may need them, okay? Because the only person we can be is us. That's just what I want to say, plain as day. The only person that we can be is us, okay? So considering the fact that the only person that you can be is you, learn to work on excelling at being the best you that you can possibly be, okay? Learn to be okay with loving you right in the place that you are at. And I'm not saying that you can't improve upon you. We all find ourselves in a place where there's room for improvement. But until that improvement comes, be okay with who you are right here, okay? Be okay with who you are right here. So, as always, if you are not subscribed to Miss TBTV, make sure you press that subscribe button, all right? And make sure you press that notification button so you can get my videos every time I drop one. If something I said, you know, may be something that you feel like, I know that this will be helpful to another person. I know that my sister, she needs to hear this. My brother, he needs to hear this. My mother, my father, my cousin, my friend, they need to hear this. Press that share. You know what I'm saying? Share it with them. And make sure you press that like. And as always, I like to wish you all a safe day, a blessed day. And I like to wish you all safe travels. I'll talk to you all later. Bye.